Why does Ja Morant not understand that, son, you can't play around like you're playing with guns? You cannot do this.
Remember Mr. Untouchable, Nicky Barnes?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ja Morant. You just got to find out sometimes. You play in the face of whoever it is. And right now, although injuries, suspensions, over the tiniest things, which all points back to him, no one else. Accountability to self. But he's paid. The check clears every 1st and 15th. He's the franchise player. He's seen all over. He's made game winners. But it gets old, especially when you're not winning at all.
Well, that's the thing. He hasn't gotten them past the second round of the playoffs.
Is it really worth the headache at this point?
Is it worth the headache? I would probably say no, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think a very important part of this is so much of his game is unreal athleticism, right?
Oh, he's probably the most exciting player outside of Steph Curry to me in the NBA.
How long does that keep up? Okay. He's 25 years old now. And no, 25 is not that old.
Mm-hmm.
But take a guy like Gilbert Arenas, for example. It was over at 25.
3-year run.
Yeah, like 25 is old enough to where the wrong injury happens, right? It's a meniscus thing or whatever, especially if you have a game that's so predicated on your athleticism, which was not really the case for Gil. It is the case for Ja Morant. Hey, man, there's no promise that there's 10 years on the other side of this. Like, if I'm Memphis and he's not listening, right? He doesn't seem to get what the stakes and what the magnitude is. Oh, we got to find somebody else to take him.
I mean, he even says, like, Chandler Parsons made a comment about maybe they need to trade him, right? Or he needs a new scenery. And he came back with a response, right? The writing's on the wall. Memphis loves you till they don't. Luka Doncic got traded, brother. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to agree with Nico or not, that should have been the eye-opener for any star. No matter what you've done for the community, no matter how many game-winning shots you've made, you are on a timetable. And they don't mind hitting the reset button again. They don't. They fired your coach.
Hold on. They fired your coach in March.
And you're fifth in West at the time.
Right. Your team is going to the playoffs, and they were still good chance to host a first-round series, and they traded you're next. As far as issues go, you're the next person they look at. Because they fire a coach like that, to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, not even necessarily because they think the coach is doing a bad job, but they think the coach can't fix what the problem is. And so they need to give it to somebody else to try to fix what the problem is before they have to fix the problem.
Yeah. And that problem happens to be 12.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, this is just, it's the flow of it, man. It's a players' league until, you know what I mean? But the player has to have some type of awareness. We can say this till our face is blue. Sure. Again, this is not even negative because it can be bite-sized and say, oh, you're hating on Ja, you just don't get it, da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, this young man is going to make a lot of money in this league. He's going to continue to do what he does. You cannot have a I don't give a fuck attitude in the National Basketball Association as this player, especially when you haven't won a championship, especially when you haven't, winning wins fixes all. We know that. You could be the worst person till you're the best person. It don't matter. But in this case, I don't see them win the championship this year. And when we look at those European stars and we're starting to look at our American stars, and the only person that really want the face and begging for it is Jason Tatum, but we really relied hard on Zion and Ja, and they have yet to meet the standards of it. Like, Ja was right there to take off.
Yep.
Unfortunately, lost to the Warriors, whatever, and he was supposed to be that next year. Got hurt, then the situation where he was suspended, then got hurt again, came back, got hurt. Now he's back to playing at a high level, and he's still one of the most exciting players. But, bro, when are you going to take this serious?
Brother, the most telling two words that you said in that whole thing were young man. You just turned 40 recently, and you understand where that goes. That Ja Morant is behaving in such ways that make you want to stop and put your hand on his shoulder and address him as young man. right? Like there's a care that comes when you tell somebody young man. But you need like that is a tone and a phrase that is reserved for hitting somebody with some true game, right? Like somebody needs to give you some true game right now, young man. If you continue going the way that you're going, right? Like that's another thing too. When you call somebody young man, what follows next is an if-then statement. If present tense, then future tense.
Yep.
If you keep going down this road where you're going, it's not going to go the way you want. And he out here like, yeah, all right, pa, all right, Unc. I hear you, Unc. Whatever you say, right? Ja Morant, look, back in the day, Ja Morant was one bad move away from having to cut his hair. You know
Remember
what I'm
that?
saying?
Remember the conversations where people were like, maybe he should cut his hair.
You always had, it was always the dreadlocks or the braids' fault, right?
Hey,
it always was. Now, granted. Well, I can explain this part. If you're going to fucking court, then it is definitely in your best interest to come in that bad boy with an edge up like that was. But like acting like you went to court and you ain't been to court yet, that was always going a little bit too far. My favorite, of course, speaking of the court thing, is when Michael Vick had to go to court, boy, he had them waves back in a heartbeat. Like once it was clear that he was catching charges, he went from braids to waves like that.
It's very telling, man. When you pop out with the waves or you pop out with that shortcut, you know, hey, as a former person who got their hair cut, I used to have hair, by the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you have to, and you are judged by your actions. Please get that haircut, clean up.
It used to always be the dreadlocks' fault, right? Now you can't even tell a boy like that to cut his hair.
Hey, is long hair the symbolism of the devil on the shoulder?
No, what it is,
do the dreads talk to you?
No, what it is.
Do the finger gun.
Long hair is the symbolization that you don't care what don't nobody say. You think the rules don't apply to you. That's what long hair. That's what long hair says. You think the rules don't apply to you.
Dang.
And I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you that is what it is telling people. Oh, you think the rules don't apply to you. He clearly thinks that they don't. Or what he misunderstands is everybody else is doing the play with guns thing. You not everybody else. Like he don't understand the ways in which he is and is not like everybody else.
Yeah. You definitely not everybody else. If the NFL cutting out this, you need to stop, brother. You need to stop. Listen, because it's like one of them, you look at the other company and they say, hey, we going back to the office 5 days.
Yes.
Y'all going back 5 days sooner or later. So if the NFL said no, hey, it about to be no taunts. It's going to be no taunt league. Nothing. just score, just go, put your hands in your pockets. Just give them pockets, NBA. Just let them put their hands in their pockets after they score.